welcome to the 20th annual Brother Raymond L. Fitz Award. Now, of course, as you well know, this is the first year that we're handling this virtually, and of course, that is because of the current pandemic. My name is Marcia Bonhart, and I have the express honor of being your MC this event. And to begin, I'd like to ask Montgomery County Commissioner Judy Dodge to approach the podium.
I'm Montgomery County Commissioner Judy Dodge, and I'm here to welcome everyone to this special program today. You know, this is all about Brother Ray and all the wonderful things he's done for our community. He has spent his life in service to children and families throughout this community. His dedication and commitment are what bring us together for this virtual celebration. While more will be said throughout this program about Brother Ray and his legacy, I wanted to take a moment to recognize Brother Ray and say thank you for the pivotal role that you have played and continue to play affecting so many of us in our community. Now, if you were attending the luncheon, this would be about the time I would introduce all the elected officials. So hopefully we have a wonderful group here today, but I do want to give a shout out to my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Debbie Lieberman and Commissioner Carolyn Rice. I also want to thank everybody else who has taken the time to attend this celebration. I'm also the Vice Chair of the Montgomery County Family and Children's First Council, also known as FCFC. You know, it was established in 1995 as the lead collaborative for addressing issues affecting children and families. For the past 21 years, the FCFC has reported on the progress of the indicators and initiatives in Montgomery County. More recently, we've shared the broader range of human services work that is happening in our community. Now, over the last couple of years, our community has faced several significant challenges. The current challenges is the COVID-19 pandemic. Montgomery County continued to provide critical services and quickly adapted to the needs of our residents. We were able to distribute more than $92 million in federal aid. And that was just so helpful to so many of us in our community. And we are so thankful that we have been able to help our community during that time. We also have had other battles to address across the country. The killing of several African American citizens brought racial injustices to light in 2020. To address racism head-on, on June 16, 2020, the Montgomery County Commission declared racism a public health crisis right here in Montgomery County. We must do more to bridge the racial divide, and everything we will do will be made public, holding us accountable for our actions. We have been quite busy over the last year, and we will remain committed to addressing the needs of children and families in the coming years. We are grateful to our community partners and those of you here today. Thank you so much for joining us to honor the Brother Ray Award recipient, Gwendolyn Buchanan.
Thank you, Commissioner Dodge. I'd also like to introduce some of the other speakers that you will hear from today. Montgomery County Commissioners Deborah Lieberman and Carolyn Rice, Deborah Feldman, the CEO of Dayton Children's Hospital and Chair of the Montgomery County Family and Children First Council, Brother Raymond Fitz himself, for whom this award is named. You're going to hear more about him, and you will hear from him as well. Assistant County Administrator, Human Services, Tom Kelly, and guest of honor, Gwendolyn Buchanan. And now it is more than appropriate that we hear from Deb Feldman, the chair of the Montgomery County Family and Children First Council.
It's my honor to be part of today's virtual celebration to honor the community work of our award recipient, Gwendolyn Buchanan. I'm here to share the foundation of establishing this award. The Brother Ray Award celebration began in 2001. This is the first year we are hosting the award celebration virtually. With each passing year, the award reception has grown and changed. The Montgomery County Family and Children's First Council continues to be engaged in the community issues that arise. We have been involved with assisting children, families, and individuals during the pandemic. Many of the member organizations of the Council have been on the front lines, delivering critical services and meeting the needs of residents. The Council has stayed abreast of the impact of the pandemic and other traumas our community has experienced. Members have supported the distribution of vaccinations at various sites throughout the county and region. They have also adjusted service delivery utilizing virtual technology and in-person home visiting as appropriate to make sure services are reaching those in need. The FCFC continues to promote data-driven research in our decision-making as we learn more about the people that live with us in Montgomery County. We continue to be amazed at the fine work of the volunteers in this community. For those who are new to this event, Brother Raymond L. Fitz was the longest-serving president in the University of Dayton's history. He stepped down from his position after 23 years in June of 2002, and now is President Emeritus and Professor of Social Change. He was also the first chair of Montgomery County's Family and Children's First Council from 1996 to 1998. He truly has a passion for and continues to serve those in need. To commemorate his dedication to the study of children and families and all of his work, this award was created in his name. Each honoree is someone who exemplifies Brother Ray's dedication to the cause of nurturing and protecting children and families. The award provides an opportunity to celebrate some of the dedicated people who are the boots on the ground, working to address social justice, equity, and bringing awareness to the needs of our children and families. I want to personally thank Gwendolyn Buchanan for her commitment and dedication to children and families, and thank each of you for continuing to value the children and families of Montgomery County.
As the Montgomery County Family and Children First Council presents the Brother Ray Award for the 20th time to the 22nd recipient, we'd like to take a moment to reflect on the trailblazers who have earned this honor through their tireless advocacy and service to our citizens. This award is named for Brother Raymond L. Fitz, SM, PhD, for his years of leadership and service to the community on behalf of children and families. Our prior recipients may be recognized for their work in several categories. There have been 6 youth advocates with a child welfare focus. Marcy Fulbright in 2001, Doris Edelman in 2009, Libby Nicholson in 2013, Beth Mann in 2014, Jim Bowers in 2015, and Stephen Geib in 2017. There have been 2 youth advocates with a court focus, Ronald Riegelsberger in 2002 and Clinton Ralph Wilcoxon II in 2010. There have been 3 youth advocates with a community focus, Matthew Hawley in 2003, Robert Neal Jr. in 2006, and Keith Harrison in 2008. There have been 5 family advocates with a community focus, Monica Rohr Updike in 2004, Carmen Gooden in 2011, Susan Caperna in 2012, and Reverend Sherry Gale and Reverend Vanessa Ward were co-recipients in 2018. There have been 2 family advocates with a reentry focus, Khadijah Ali in 2016 and Judge Walter H. Rice in 2019. And there have been 3 social action advocates, Barbara Holmes in 2005, and Alicia Pagan and Raymond Two Crows Whalen were recognized together in 2007. We'd like to thank our past recipients once again for all they have meant to the children and families of Montgomery County.
That video certainly shows how committed the former winners are of this beautiful award, the commitment that they have made to this community. So now I would like to introduce Brother Raymond L. Fitz.
Thank you very much for being with us as we celebrate Gwen Buchanan's outstanding accomplishments in support of mothers and children. Gwen exemplifies the characteristics of service and dedication to families and to children that have become a hallmark of our Montgomery community. We are a community with great leadership in our commissioners and in our public service in Montgomery County, but most of all, our citizens are the most important. We have been blessed by people who have generously reached out to help others in our community. We've been blessed with great compassion and generous citizens. I want to thank all of you for the sacrifice of time and resources to improve the lives of our children and families. What a year we've had. This pandemic has really upset all of our lives. I know for me, teaching remotely has not been my greatest joy, but I understand many more people have had deeper disruptions. The loss of jobs, the stories of mothers that I've heard working and trying at the same time to help their children be involved in remote learning. People have generously helped their neighbors. The mental health issues are a big struggle for our community, and most of all, we have dealt with the serious injustice of racism in our community. Leadership, I think, by our government and our citizens have identified issues that we really need to address for our families and for our children. We are a community with a lot of fight and a lot of initiative, and I'm convinced we can work through these difficult issues of the pandemic, and we'll come out as a greater community and with more grit and more resilience. We have to face the tragedy that's in our community, and we always come out stronger and with more excellence. We have missed an opportunity to celebrate Gwen last year, just when the pandemic got started. We usually go to the top of the market to really have a good celebration with friends and all the past recipients. We had to do a pivot, and we're doing it this year again the way we've been doing most things, virtually. So we appreciate all the people coming out and listening to what we've been able to accomplish, and most of all to hear Gwen's great outstanding contributions to our community and to the families and children. Gwen has demonstrated the core values of our award. The award indicates that we want a person of dedication and compassion, strong commitment, and we want a person who can work together with a team that surrounds the parents and children with the support that they need. And most of all, a moral compass. And I know that Gwen, in her work that she does with guiding and coaching mothers and their children, she really emphasizes them getting to their core values. We want this award to winners to have a real great remembrance of this celebration. And Terry Wilker, a local outstanding artist, has created a piece of art that you'll see later in the ceremony that really captures the spirit of this award. I want to thank Terry for his outstanding work. Later, as I said, you will view the award when it's presented to Gwen. Let us today then celebrate Gwen's great accomplishments, but let's also celebrate the great work and generosity of the citizens of Montgomery County.
Earlier in the program, we let you know that our Montgomery County Commissioners were in the audience, and you're going to hear now from Carolyn Rice, who's going to present a proclamation from the Commissioners.
Good afternoon. I have the great honor of reading the proclamation, and so here goes. Whereas the Montgomery County Family and Children First Council is recognizing the 22nd recipient of the Brother Raymond L. Fitz Award, and whereas, as a tribute to Brother Raymond L. Fitz, former president of the University of Dayton, the Montgomery County Family and Children First Council created this annual award honoring his years of leadership and service to the community on behalf of children and families. And each year, this award is presented to someone who absolutely exemplifies Brother Ray's dedication to the cause of nurturing and protecting children and families by his or her day in and day out efforts in the Montgomery County community. And whereas Gwendolyn Buchanan, life coach and community advocate, has been recognized as the 22nd recipient of the Brother Ray Award. And whereas Gwendolyn Buchanan has distinguished herself as an exemplary role model in our community, her community spirit, leadership, volunteerism, and making a difference in the lives of so many she has touched throughout the years. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Montgomery County, Ohio, does hereby recognize, honor, congratulate, and thank Gwendolyn Buchanan for her leadership, outstanding accomplishments, and service to Montgomery County. Please accept our warmest wishes on this very special occasion. Thank you, Gwendolyn. Great.
You can only imagine how many nominations come through the office for the Brother Raymond L. Fitz Award each and every year. There are so many great champions in this community, but each year the judges have the tough decision to make to capture that one special person. And you're going to hear that nomination right now. It's going to be delivered by Commissioner Deborah Lieberman.
I'm County Commissioner Debbie Lieberman, and I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank our judges and all of the nominators for their participation in this process. I especially want to commend all of the nominees, and I hope you enjoyed the video reflecting on our past recipients of the award. Collectively, they represent our community's commitment and dedication to those in need. Our human service system is so fortunate to have capable, loyal, and caring people, individuals who display ingenuity and flexibility, especially in our current uncertain environment. And I'm sure that the people whom they serve would heartily agree. A couple of years ago, Montgomery County Family and Children First added an additional criterion for the nominator to describe the nominee's commitment in addressing access and opportunity, or equity, and address the disparities impacting the lives of the people that they are serving. And given our current environment, we have to name the issue before us and respond with action. So these judges were asked to consider a local group of unsung heroes, and they had to then somehow choose the most deserving of that award, the unsung hero. So this year, they selected a very worthy recipient, Gwendolyn Buchanan. Kiana Daniels, Gwen's daughter, nominated her. And I'd like to read a few words from that nomination before we watch a video that includes a few more people and their impressions of our honorees' community impact. As a single mother of 3 adult children and 6 grandchildren, Gwen understands the challenges women face and the value of achieving education and building resources for their future. It was in 2007 that she was led to the Glen at St. Joseph to serve as a life coach for single moms. This allowed her to coach and support them to love and accept themselves and to make positive choices for their futures. She has been instrumental in providing input into the creation of the Carillon Edgemont Neighborhood Plan, an 18-month effort between residents, the city of Dayton, the community, and neighborhoods. She is an advocate for senior residents, helping them stay in their homes safely. She secured a grant of $50,000 for home improvements for seniors. So now, please enjoy this video, which captures the community, her commitment, and services that Gwen has influenced.
I think I decided I wanted to be a public servant because growing up, that's always what I saw. I grew up in the Carillon Civic Council neighborhood, and I'm the president of the organization now. And we had a very active neighborhood association, and I was mentored by the co-founders, Virginia McNeil, and also LaVoy Thomas and Mr. Claude Bell. Mrs. McNeil always handpicked me to do things in the neighborhood. I call it she voluntold me. She didn't volunteer me. She said, you will do this. You will pass out flyers. You will be hostess different organizations and events. And Mrs. McNeil was also the first African-American woman on the Dayton City Commission, if I'm not mistaken. She was president of the school board. And so when you come up with that kind of tutelage, and that is the motto, that's what I aspired to do.
Growing up, you know, just seeing my mom's work ethic, and how she gave and how she served, and she's a wonderful servant leader. My mom is a giver. She's a helper and a giver, and I get that from her, and so she's constantly there for for other people, probably hence the award that she's receiving. She's just, you know, she's always given to the community, given to our family.
I was so surprised that she did this because she had asked me some questions, but you know, it's like, you know what I do, I always tell you what I do. And she just asked me a few questions, so I didn't know that she nominated me. And so Tom Kelly told me that I was going to get this award and told me that my daughter had nominated me, and I started to cry, as I'm doing now, because, you know, you don't always know what you mean to your children. Like, I know that they love me, but you don't always know. And I just feel loved.
So I first met Gwen about 3 years ago, and it was when we were considering building our substance use disorder program here in the Carillon neighborhood. And Gwen was generous enough to take me and a couple of our colleagues around the neighborhood and show us the Carillon neighborhood. And I'll never forget having her narrate all the way through the neighborhood how proud she was of the Carillon neighborhood, the historical aspects that she was able to share with us, and just what a lovely community it was. I was thrilled when I heard that Gwen was receiving the Brother Ray Award. When I think about Brother Ray, servant leadership comes to mind, and that is also who Gwen is. She is a servant leader. She shows up with a purpose, and she drives towards that purpose. And so I can't think of anyone better to receive this award this year.
So I'm going into my 14th year here at the Glen, and I retain relationships with many of our graduates. So when I think about what I've taught them, I also really think about what they taught me. Because coaching is all about walking alongside your client. They are the expert. So I'm trained as a counselor, and as a counselor, you know, I would be the expert, and I am prescribing because I'm diagnosing. But with coaching, it's a partnership.
She's not a disciplinarian, but she is at the same time, right? So most people, yeah, you're firm, you care. Like, there have been times where you've like corrected me, but it kind of reminds me of like how Jesus is in the Bible though at the same time, right? Honestly, and I think that most people have this short-sighted, like being a disciplinarian, that means like having the iron fist, right? But you look at the Bible and you see how Jesus was and how he corrected people was always out of love. And he didn't chastise them or belittle them or berate them, and that's how you were. Like, you never, even when I made like the stupidest decisions ever and I would bring them to you, it was never you making me feel as low as I should have felt sometimes, right? Because I was always hard on myself. You would give me correction out of love and tell me how to maneuver differently.
You know, Gwen has a lot of energy that she brings. She's very enthusiastic about the women that she works with here. I rely on her a lot for, you know, as far as community connections, because Gwen has a lot of community connections, and which the women here need.
My first nonprofit job, which was at St. E. Hospital, I'll never forget that on the first day of the employee orientation, Jim Strebe was the president. And the one thing he said that stuck with me, he said, make sure that the organization that you go to work for, that their philosophy, their corporate philosophy, closely matches your own. And so from that point on, I knew that I was going to work a nonprofit. I thought that I would always work in a faith-based organization, and except for one position since that time, I have.
Well, certainly if you did not know Gwen Buchanan before now, you certainly know her very, very well, and the impact she has had on young mothers and this entire community for sure. I'd like to welcome Ms. Buchanan to receive the Brother Raymond L. Fitz Award.
Standing on the strong shoulders of those who came before me, I am so thankful, honored, and humbled to be the recipient of the prestigious Brother Ray Fitz Award. Serving youth and families in the Dayton community has been a part of my life for the past 30 years. I was so fortunate to have many mentors, leaders, and visionaries influence and inspire me as a child, beginning with my parents, grandparents, many neighbors, and then friends and colleagues along my journey. Years ago, I prayed that God would reveal my life purpose and allow me to make a positive impact in the lives of others. I have one simple request: to know that when I lie down to sleep each night, that something I said or something I did made someone's life better. I've had the benefit of working with faith-filled individuals and faith-based institutions who believe in the greatest potential of man, woman, and child, individually and collectively, as a family and community. It's been a blessing to align with those who commit their time, talent, and treasure to uplifting those we serve to become all whom our Creator purposed them to be. Mentoring and coaching, whether formal or informal, is important. It's important because often others see in us what we cannot see in ourselves. I've been fortunate to have some dynamic mentors and coaches. While I cannot name everyone who's made a positive impact on my life, I would be remiss if I didn't name a few. Starting with my parents, Valeria and Lawrence Buchanan, now deceased, who also taught me that no one rises to low expectations. Do your best the first time, and you won't have to repeat it, nor will you have regrets. Miss Virginia McNeil, co-founder of the Caroline Civic Council, who demonstrated what true community service and leadership is. That is advocating for those who wouldn't or couldn't speak for themselves, grassroots organizing, and speaking truth to power. I say this with lots of humor. She also voluntold me what I would do with my spare time to make my community better as a child and as an adult. John Murphy, when I was a young single mother at Franciscan Medical Center with my 3 children, he was a very flexible supervisor and allowed me to take late lunches to pick up my children from school and to take them to the after-school program. He worked around my schedule as a single mom. He saw my strengths and not my challenges and worked to help me improve my skills. He promoted me from executive assistant to manager of development. Gina Austin Lewis, a strong African-American woman whom at the time was the only person of color in the role of vice president for the Franciscan Health System. She also volunteered me that I would volunteer on State Representative Lloyd Lewis's campaign, which opened many doors in social networks. She then challenged me to go back to school and complete my bachelor's degree, which I did. Gina embodied the grace, intelligence, and strength of what a successful Black woman is and can be. She believed in my gifts and talents, and if she had not challenged me, I may not have continued my education. Joyce Guerin. Joyce has been my sister, mother, and friend. She speaks life into my spirit and has been a listening ear and a voice of wisdom on personal and professional issues. There have been so many others who have contributed to who I am and supported my journey, just to name a few. Mary and Clay Mateo, Reverend Vanessa and Darrell Ward, Reverend Marty and Veronica McMichael, Joe McDermott, Dr. Karen Townsend, Bonnie Smith, Daria Dillard Stone, Elaine Lance, Gwendolyn Gist, the Dixon United Methodist Church family, Caroline Civic Council Executive Board, and our wonderful residents. The common thread throughout all of these relationships is that others saw in me what I couldn't see in myself. Rather than focusing on my challenges, they focused on my strengths and supported me in my growth and development to become my best self. That unconditional love and support is what I seek to bring to those I serve through coaching and mentoring. To help those that I serve tap into their unique talents and gifts to overcome obstacles to living their best life. Last but not least, I want to thank my children for loving their mom in all her mess and her best, and choosing to serve their community through entrepreneurship. In particular, I want to thank my daughter, Kiana Daniels, who nominated me for this award. I am so in awe of you and your talent, and so grateful to be your mom. Thank you to the Montgomery County Family and Children First Council for selecting me as the recipient of the Brother Raymond Fitz Award.
I think we can all agree this year and last year certainly have been taxing for our human services. And we bring now the gentleman who has been on top of the Brother Raymond L. Fitz Award for a number of years. He is Tom Kelly, the Assistant County Administrator for Human Services.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly, Assistant Montgomery County Administrator for Human Services. I'd like to add my congratulations to Gwen Buchanan as the 22nd recipient of the Brother Raymond L. Fitz Award. Gwen is a fine example of the exceptional people within our community who faithfully do their best day in and day out to improve the lives of others. I am fortunate to know Gwen and to witness the caring example that she sets forth every day. I would encourage all of you to please nominate someone you know who may also be deserving of this award and this recognition. They may be an unsung hero, or they may be someone doing their work in plain sight every day. If you go to mcohio.org/HSPD, you can locate the nomination form, which can be completed and then submitted. There you will also find the valuable work that's going on from the Family and Children First Council, the Human Services Levy Council, the Homeless Solutions Policy Board, and the Frail Elderly Advisory Services Committee. In closing today, I'd also like to take a moment to thank our Human Services Agency and all of our providers. Whether it's been our public-facing major agencies or our community-based nonprofits, they've all remained flexible, responsive, and resilient to what we've faced over the last couple of years. From tornadoes to tragic events to the pandemic and everything in between, and also to an awakening around racial equity and social justice needs. We've seen day in and day out resilient efforts to continue to find ways to address needs, fill gaps, and provide services that reprioritize, pivot, and position our community to advance forward. Human Services are here to respond when needed. Remember, something you do is of daily importance for someone. Stay flexible enough to see those things and understand how you make a difference. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Gwendolyn Buchanan. Congratulations for all of the work that you have done, and we know all of the work that you will continue to do. This concludes our virtual awards ceremony this afternoon. It was a little different this year, as we mentioned. The Human Services 2020 annual report will be released very soon. Thank you so much for viewing this virtual celebration. Have a good day.